Good morning everyone. Welcome ulit sa aking YouTube channel, no? So today's lesson, I will be discussing statics of rigid body lecture 2. So a continuation siya nung nakaraang video ko na kung saan ay pag-uusapan natin ngayon yung mga forces naman, no? So bago ako mag-start, shout out ko lang yung mga kaibigan ko, no? Na kung saan ay pinilit ko pang mag-subscribe ng YouTube channel ko. So sina Jasmine, si Kenneth, si Lawrence, si Limar, si Eds, si Je at saka si Rachel. So I do hope na nag-iingat kayo dyan, no? Ingat kayo at keep safe. So today's topic coverage, I will be discussing forces, basic concepts. Number 2, two-dimensional force system, moment, resultant force, and three-dimensional force system. So before we start yung mga computations, basic muna tayo, basic concepts. So classification of force. Pero si force, define natin si force as yung action of one body to another. So kumbaga ay si force is yung energy na ini-exert natin dun sa isang bagay para nagko-cause ng isang paggalaw or acceleration dun sa isang bagay. So kung halimbawa yung sasakyan, tinulak natin, so nag-exert tayo ng force doon. Si pinto, pag sara natin, nag-exert tayo ng force doon, no? So parang yun yung pinaka-basic definition ng force. No? Once na nag-exert ka ng effort dun sa si force po siya para mag-cause or gumalaw yung isang bagay. So, si force is classified into many ways daw. So, si force can be applied or either induced, no? And also, force are classified in accordance with the nature of concentration. So, si force, minsan makikita natin sa mga problems na ma-encounter natin. Meron tayong uniformly distributed load, concentrated load, na kung saan ay yung mga loads na yun is force po yun, no? So, doon, iba-iba yung pag-treat or pag-solve naman natin, no? Pero later pa naman natin ma-identify. Pero yun nga, si force is classified in accordance to the nature of concentration. So, meron tayong concentrated, tapos meron tayong distributed, no, na force. Then, external effect and internal effect of a force. So, si external effect is manifested in or tendency to change the state of motion of a body upon which the force acts. So, kumbaga si external effect is yung kapag pag-apply mo pa lang ng loads, nakita mo na agad kung ano yung mga nagbago. Nag-increase ba yung acceleration or nagkaroon ba ng movement. So, external effect po yun, no? Si internal effect naman is yun yung mga force of force is to produce stresses and strain within the body acted upon. So, kumbaga, yung internal effects is yung pangloob na effect nung pag-apply natin ng force. So, kumbaga, yung pag naglagay kasi tayo ng force sa isang bagay, magkakaroon siya ng, yung sinabi dito, compression and tension. No? Kung saan ay pag compression, nagko-compress or nagko-contract. Kapag tension, nag-elongate or humahaba yung isang yung natin, yung isang materials, no? Okay, force system. Force system is any arrangement where two or more force act on a body or a group of related bodies. It is a set of two or more coplanar or spatial force. No, si force system is yun kumbaga yung yun doon nag-a-act yung forces natin. So meron tayong tinatawag na coplanar and non-coplanar. Si coplanar is yun yung force system natin na kung saan ay sa single point lang po siya nanggaling yung lahat ng forces. Si non-coplanar naman is yung kumbaga kabaliktaran ng coplanar, no? Then si coplanar system is obviously simpler than non-coplanar system since all the actions lines of the force lies on the same plane. So si force system are further classified according to their line of action. So si force system is bukod dun sa coplanar and non-coplanar, dinidefine din po yung force system or kinaklasify natin siya based dun sa line of action niya. Si force whose line of actions pass through the common point, so tinatawag siyang concurrent force system. Kapag parallel naman yung mga forces natin, kagaya nung sa effect ng column, which is parallel lahat ng loads, parallel force system naman siya. Then kapag yung line of action natin ay neither parallel nor intersected yung common point, so non-concurrent force system po yung pinag-uusapan natin doon, no? So kumbaga, yung non-concurrent force system, yung marami ng forces na nag-a-act doon sa system natin na kung saan ay hindi na natin mawari kasi kung may pa right pa left na kung saan ay may pinagmulan na iba't ibang points, no? Then, special type of force system is what referred to as a couple. So, si couple is a force which, kumbaga, equal in magnitude, opposite in direction, and not collinear with each other. So, kumbaga, si force, yung force na pareho ang magnitude but opposite in direction, tinatawag natin siyang couple, no? So, kung halimbawa may force akong pataas na 90 kilonewton at may force akong pababa na 90 kilonewton, so pwede natin siyang ma-identify as couple, yung dalawa, no? At separated siya with distance d, no? So, sabi nga, non-collinear with each other. So, a resultant of a force system is a single force or a couple which acting alone will produce the same effect as the force system. So, si resultant of a force is yung parang yung lahat ng forces ay pinag-isa mo lang. So, yun agad yung resultant of a force system, no? Kumbaga, ang makikita mo na lang sa pinaka-final is a single force acting on the force system natin na kumbaga equivalent siya dun sa lahat ng forces na nakalagay nung una, no? Then, equilibrant and equilibrium. Si equilibrant po is a force system, single force na pag in-apply, or single force or couple force na pag nilagay natin dun sa system natin is man-neutralize or mababalance yung system natin. Si equilibrium naman is a condition ng sa condition when the resultant of a force system is equal to zero. Yun yung equilibrium. So, summation forces vertical equal to 0, summation forces horizontal is equal to 0, and summation moment is equivalent kay 0. So, equilibrium po yun. Axioms of mechanics. Ito yung mga dapat nating tandaan, no? So, si parallelogram law, the resultant of two force is the diagonal of the parallelogram formed on the vectors of these forces. So, si parallelogram law is na-discuss na rin siya naman nung unang video ko, no? So, yun po yung parallelogram law. Then, two forces are in equilibrium only when equal in magnitude, opposite in direction, and collinear in action. So, parang ito ay dapat hindi siya equilibrium, couple. Two forces are in couple dapat siguro. Pero yun nga, yung couple naman magiging equilibrium kasi kung yung vertical natin na pataas is 90 kN at pababa is 90 kN. So, masisiro po yun, no? Kumbaga, papasok pa rin naman yung equilibrium dun sa axioms natin. A set of forces in equilibrium may be added to any system of force without changing the effect of the original system. So, kapag sinabing equilibrium po yung ano natin, kahit anong maglagay ka pa ng another force, is dapat maging equilibrium pa rin po yung ano natin, or equal to zero yung resultant natin. So, si D, actions and reactions of force are equal but opposite directed. Free body diagram. Si free body diagram po is isa sa mga pinaka-importanteng dapat matutunan ninyo dito sa statics kasi gamit na gamit siya hanggang sa theory of structure, no? So, si free body diagram is a sketch of isolated body which shows only the forces. So, kumbaga parang pag sa ano yan is stick drawing lang yan, no? Kung makikita mo na lang sa mga figures is yung lahat ng forces na nag-act dun sa system natin. So, yan, two components of a force that are perpendicular to each other are called rectangular components. Components of a force system, of a force that are not perpendicular to each other are referred to be oblique components. So, kapag yung two components daw natin ay perpendicular, agad makakabuo tayo ng rectangular components doon. Kapag may mga angle po, makakabuo tayo ng oblique or obtuse component, no? So, ito, basahin nyo na lang po yan. So, the resolutions for the force is replacement of a single force, several components, which will be equivalent in actions to the given force is called resolution of a force. It can be done either graphically or analytically. So, yun nga. Si graphical method tsaka si analytical method. So, ito yung ways or yung process na pag-solve natin. Si graphical method po is yung process na kung saan ay i-graph natin yung figure, no, in a scale down. Then, doon makakompute natin through parallelogram law, makakompute natin yung value ng hinahanap natin. Si analytical method naman po is, ito yung madalas natin magagamit kasi ito yung application ng algebra at saka trigonometry. So, si analytical method is ginagamitan natin ng knowledge doon sa algebra at sa trigo para makapag-compute tayo ng value, no? Si analytical method po yung madalas natin gagamitin, no? Okay, sample problem tayo para at least mas maintindihan ninyo yung mga pinagsasabi ko kanina. So, two-dimensional force system. So, example number 1. The force F1 and F2 and F3, all of which act on a point A on a bracket, are specified in 3 different ways. Determine the x and y component, scalar component of each of the 3 forces. So, meron tayong figure dyan. So, solve natin. So, we have here 3 forces, F1, F2, and F3. So, pinapahanap po yung component ng bawat isa. So, solution number 1. So, we have here F1, which is equivalent kay 600 Newton. So, the component of F1 is ito. Kapag kinomponent natin yan, ito at ito. No? So, lalabas, we have here angle of 35 degrees. So, we can say that F1 x is equivalent kay 600 since x, ito yung x natin, ito yung y natin. So, kapag sinabi natin F1x, ito po yung F1x natin. F1x or yung along x-axis natin. Then ito ay si F1y. So, para makuha natin ito, cosine lang, no? So, kumbaga knowledge natin sa trigo, cosine lang. Cosine, tapos pag yung opposite naman ito, opposite Fy, sine naman po tayo, no? So, 600 cosine 35 degrees. So, we have here F1x is equivalent kay, compute natin. We have here 600 cosine 35. We have here 491.49. 491.491 Newton. So, the direction of F1x is pa ganon. Answer. Then, si F1y is equivalent kay 600. Para makuha yung y, ito di ba yan, di ba? Ito. So, lalabas sine yon, opposite. So, 600 sine 35. So, we have here F1y is equivalent kay 600 sine 35. We have here 344.146 Newton. The direction of Fy is pataas. Yan po. Okay, so we have here F2. F2 is equivalent kay 500. So, meron tayong component ng F2, pag ganon, at pag ganon. We have here F2y, and we have F2x. F2x. Okay, so, since wala kang makikitang angle dyan, naka 3, 4 lang siya, so, we can say that ito ay 5. Or we can get the angle using tangent, theta, opposite, over adjacent. So, si theta is equivalent kay arctan 3/4. Lalabas, we have here 36.87 degrees. So, pwede natin sabihin si F2x is equivalent kay 500. Since x, cosine ulit tayo. Cosine 36.87 degrees or 500 times 4, which is yung x, tapos yung 5. 4/5. Pareho lang po yan ng kalalabasan, no? So, let's say 500 cosine 36.87 equivalent. So, we have here 399.999 Newton. Dapat po negative siya kasi papunta siya sa ganun. Pero hindi ko na siya sinulat yung negative sign kasi nga naglagay naman ako ng direction dito sa dulo, no? So, kapag sinolve natin to, lalabas na ay 400 Newton pa ganun, no? So, alas pareho lang po siya. Okay, si F3, F2y pala. F2y is equivalent kay 500. Since y ang pinag-uusapan natin, opposite sign. 36.87 or 500 times 4 over 5. Kasi si sin theta is 4 over 5, di ba? So, lalabas F2y is equivalent kay ano pala to? 3 over 5. 3 over 5. So, we have here 300 Newton. So, ang F2y natin ay going up. Okay. So, ngayon, si F3, we have here F3 is equivalent kay 800 Newton. So, the component of F3 is ito at ito. So, para makakuha natin, kunin natin yung value nitong angle dito. So, sabihin ko ito ay si theta 3. Kasi F3. So, si theta 3, para makuha natin si theta 3, tangent theta 3 is equivalent kay opposite over adjacent. So, si opposite natin ay 0.1 plus 0.3 is 0.4. Tapos, yung distance na to is 0.4 minus 0.2. We have here 0.2. So, therefore, theta 3 is equivalent kay 63.435 degrees. Okay? So, ngayon, we have here F3 x is equivalent kay 800. Since x, ito yon. So, lalabas yan ay cosine 63.435. Equivalent po yan sa 800 cosine 63.435. We have here 357.770 Newton going to the right, F3x. Then, si F3y naman natin is equivalent kay 800 sine 63.435. Therefore, F3y is equivalent kay 715.542 Newton downward. So, basta alam nyo na pag downward yung force natin is negative, pag upward is positive, pag going to the right is positive, pag going to the left is negative. So, ito, going to the right, positive to. To, downward, negative dapat yan. No? Pero kung may direction ka naman dito sa baba, sa gilid, kahit hindi ka na maglagay ng sign convention. No? Okay, let's continue. Sample number 2. Sample number 2. Combine the two force P and T which acts on the fixed structure at P into a single equivalent force. So, si force daw is gagawin lang natin siyang isa. No? Pag-iisahin lang natin yung force P and T. So, again, may figure ulit ako. Okay, so we have here force P and force T. So, gagawin daw natin, pag-iisahin lang daw natin siya. So, ibig sabihin, resultant yung hinahanap natin dito. No? So, parallelogram method, extend lang natin yung forces. So, pwedeng itong force P, ililipat ko dito, tapos gawa kong parallelogram, pag ganyan. So, extend ko lang po ito dito. Tapos, gawa ulit ako ng parallel nitong dito. So, we have here this portion. And parallel ulit dito. So, ito. So, therefore, makakabuo ako ng resultant which is ito. Ito po yung resultant natin. Ito yung R na hinahanap. Okay? So, para ma-compute natin yung values, so ito ay si 800, tapos ito ay si 600. Ngayon, may mga angle naman dito, so kailangan ko munang kunin ito. Tama? So, bago ko makuha yan, kunin ko muna yung mga values nito. So, pwede kong sabihin, kunin ko muna si BD. So, may angle ako dito. Para makuha ko si BD, sine. Tama ba? Sine 60 is BD over hypotenuse, which is 6. Then, cosine 60 is equivalent kay CD over 6. Then, we all know that ito ay yung alpha, pag tinangent natin yan, tama bang ito yon? Distance na to, which is 3 plus CD. Tapos yung height nito is CD. BC. BD pala. BD. Okay. So, tangent alpha is equivalent kay opposite over adjacent. Ang opposite natin ay BD over adjacent, which is 3 plus CD. So, tangent alpha is equivalent kay BD, which is itong BD natin ito, 6 sine 60 all over 3 plus value ng CD ay ito, 6 cosine 60. Therefore, alpha is equivalent kay 40.89 degrees. So, the value of alpha is 40.89 degrees. Therefore, itong value na to, which is equivalent kay, itong buong kabuuan kasi 180 to, minus 60. So, we have here 120 degrees. Then, si alpha is equivalent kay 40.89 degrees. Therefore, makakakuha tayo ng mga values, which is itong angle dito is pareho po sa angle na nandito. So, we have here, ito din ay si alpha. Then, yung value po is makukuha natin dito. So, magagamit natin si, kung meron na tayong value dito, makukuha na natin yung value ni R through cosine law. So, si cosine law is R squared is equivalent kay 800 squared plus 600 squared minus 2 times 800 times 600 cosine alpha, which is equivalent kay 40.89. Therefore, the value of R is equivalent kay 800 squared plus 600 squared minus 2 times 800 times 600 cosine 40.89. Square root answer. We have here 523.7089 pounds. Ito po yung value ni force R or ni resultant, no? Then, para makuha natin yung location lang ng R, so kunin nyo lang yung angle nito. Ito ay si theta, sabihin natin theta yan. So, para ma-compute natin yan, we have here sine law, 600 tapos nun, 600 all over sine theta is equivalent kay R, which is equivalent kay 523.7089 all over sine angle, which is 40.89. Therefore, theta is equivalent kay 523.600 sine 40.89 all over 523.7089 arc sine answer. We have here 48 59 degrees. So, yan po yung angle nung kumbaga yung location ng resultant natin, no? So, pwede rin natin siyang isolve through component, no? So, kanina, sabi ko kanina, yung resultant is summation forces vertical, summation forces horizontal, tapos square root ng forces vertical, forces horizontal yung magiging value, no? So, try lang natin kasi ito yung mas madalas magagamit natin, no? Na process. Pero ito naman, gamit naman siya, no? So, ito kasi ay pang, ano lang to, pang application lang ng algebra, ay ng trigo. So, let's say another solution. Pero magagamit pa rin po natin yung angle nito, no? So, we have here summation forces or summation forces y is equivalent kay ry. So, lahat ng ry natin is yung vertical component. So, ito yung vertical component natin. Tama? ry yan. So, lalabas ang ry lang natin is si 600 sine angle which is 40.89. Therefore, ry is equivalent kay 392.765 pounds downward. Then, si summation forces x, lahat ng x is pagsasamahin natin dyan. Therefore, rx is equivalent kay, yung papunta doon is positive, yung papunta pa left is negative. So, ang papunta sa right natin is yung 800. So, we have here positive 800 minus yung pa left natin which is 600 cosine 40.89. Therefore, Rx is equivalent kay 346.4194 pounds going to the right. Therefore, R is equivalent kay square root ni Rx squared plus Ry squared. Bakit naging square root yan? Kasi nga, parang Pythagorean theorem yan eh. Ito yung Rx natin, ito yung Ry, ito yung R, or ito yung R natin. R. Gets? Okay, so compute lang natin kung ano value ni R. We have here R is equivalent kay square root ni 346.4194 squared plus Ry which is 392.765 squared. R is equivalent kay 523.7086 pounds. So, halos pareho lang po siya nito, no? Then, to get the value of theta, so we have here tangent theta is equivalent kay Ry over Rx. So, si Ry natin is equivalent kay 392.765 and Rx natin is equivalent kay 346.4914. Therefore, theta is equivalent kay 48.59 degrees. Okay. Let's proceed to another problem. Problem number 3. Okay, so a 500 Newton force F is applied to the vertical pole as shown. Write F in terms of the unit vector I and J and identify both the vectors and scalar component. Determine the scalar component of the force vector F along x prime and y prime axis. Determine the scalar component of F along the x and y prime axis. Okay. Okay, so we have here the figure. So first question of number 3, pinapahanap po yung vector I and x quantity nung F natin, no? So therefore, Solution number 3. We have here F is equivalent kay 500 Newton. Okay? Then, Fx is equivalent kay, yung Fx natin, di ba, ito yung y component at ito yung x component. Okay? So, si Fx natin is equivalent kay, since nandito yung angle natin na 30, so lalabas, pag nag-Fx tayo, ito yung value niya. So, sine po yun. No? So, we have here 500 sine. Kasi nga, yung Fx ay opposite ng angle. Sine 30 degrees. Therefore, ito po ay equivalent kay 250 Newton going to the right. Then, Fy is equivalent kay 500 cosine 30, which is equivalent kay 433.01 Newton downward. Okay. So, we all know that pag x ang pinag-usapan natin, may equivalent I na distance yun. Then, kapag y naman siya, meron tayong j na ano. So, pwede kong i-rewrite yung value ng f is equivalent kay, since going to the right, positive, downward is negative. So, we have here 250. Since fx yon, may kaakibat siya na I. Minus, nag-negative siya kasi nga downward force yung 433 natin. 433.01 J. Kaakibat ni Fy ay J. So, therefore, ito po yung answer natin. Make sure na ang unit po niyan ay naka-Newton. Ito po yung sagot natin para sa number 3.1. No? 3.1. Okay. So, number 2 tayo. We have here force F is equivalent kay 500 Newton. At ang pinapahanap po sa question is the force vector F along x prime and y prime. So, kung ito yung force natin dito, ito yung force natin, di ba I prime to at x prime to. So, therefore, F x prime is equivalent kay itong force na mismo na to. Okay? So, mismong 500 Newton. Therefore, Fy prime is equivalent kay 0. Kasi walang angle or walang ibang force na mag-exert. Kasi nga, napunta na lahat dun sa Fx prime yung 500. No? So, yan po yung sagot sa number 3-2. Okay. Let's proceed for 3-3. Ang question pa ay determine the scalar component of F along x and y prime axis. So, ngayon, dito daw papupuntahin at dito papupuntahin yung component natin. No? So, ngayon, papuproduce lang tayo ng parallelogram ulit or ano lang natin siya, parallelogram method. So, ngayon, lalagyan ako ng parallel force dito sa axis na to, dito sa kabila. Okay. So, ito po siya. Then, itong force dito, apply din ako dun sa kabila. Kasi since ito yung mag-act na force, isa, so dito yung magiging resultant agad natin. Na Fx. Ito ay Fx. Ito ay Fy prime. Then, lalagyan ulit ako ng axis na parallel dito. So, ito po yun. Ngayon, makikita niyo meron tayong triangle dito. Tama? Ito is equivalent kay 500 Newton. Then, angle dito, which is 30. So, kapag naglagay ako ng vertical force dito, vertical line dyan, meron akong angle 30 dito. Tama? Tapos ito ay 30. So, therefore, ito ay 60. So, pag nilagay ko dito, magkakaroon ako ng 60 dyan. Therefore, ito ay yung kabuuan nito is naka 90 degrees. Tama ba? So, since naka 90 degrees yan, ibig sabihin may right triangle tayo dito. Then, para makuha natin yung value ng Fy at Fx. So, therefore, we have here F, which is 500 Newton. So, Fx, yung Fx natin is yung hypotenuse, tama? Hypotenuse yan. So, pwede kong sabihin opposite over hypotenuse. So, pag kukunin ko yung Fx, so, let's say, sine 30 is opposite, which is 500 over Fx. Therefore, Fx is equivalent kay 500 all over sine 30. Therefore, Fx is equivalent kay 1,000 Newton going to the right. Then, para makuha si Fy prime, yung Fy prime natin ay ito. So, cosine tayo, no? Or tangent. So, we have here tangent 30 is opposite, which is 500 all over Fy prime. Fy prime is equivalent kay 866.025 Newton. So, ito ay downward. So, negative value po ito, no? Kung tutuusin. Ito na siya. Kung makikita ninyo, meron tayong downward dito, tapos meron tayong going to the to the right. Okay. So, lalabas, meron tayong 866.025 Newton downward. Okay, let's proceed to another problem. Tayo. Okay, so example number 4, forces F1 and F2 act on a bracket as shown. Determine the projection FB of the resultant R onto the B axis. So, may figure ulit tayo. So, pag-iisahin daw natin to. No? So, ganun ulit, parallelogram method ulit tayo. So, we have here, gawa lang ulit tayo ng parallel dito sa line na to. And parallel dito sa line na to. Therefore, the resultant will be this line. Okay? So, para makuha po ito, tama bang ang angle na to is 30 degrees to? Therefore, ito ay 30 degrees. Pag nag-extend po yan, magkakaroon ako ng 60 degrees dyan. Then, yung angle po dito is 70 degrees. Therefore, pag nilipat ko po yan, 70 din po to. No? Therefore, ito ay lalabas 130 degrees. Then, yung first na 100 is ito. Yung first dito ay 80. So, pwede na natin gamitan ng cosine law. So, sabihin ko to si R. Or the resultant. So, therefore, R squared is equivalent kay 100 squared plus 80 squared minus 2 times 100 times 80 cosine 130 degrees. Therefore, R is equivalent kay 163.354 Newton. Ito po yung sagot dun sa resultant, no? Then, to compute the projection FB, so si projection FB is yung along the B-axis. Ito yung B-axis natin. So, kapag nag-project tayo ng perpendicular line dito, sabi natin, So, dapat ito ay 90 degrees. So, therefore, kung ang value nito is 100 at yung angle nito is equivalent kay 50, kasi nga, angle dito is 130, 130 din to. Therefore, ito ay buong 180, matitira yung 50 na angle dito. So, para makuha natin yung projection FB, which is ito, FB ito, itong buong length na to. So, lalabas, FB, dito na lang, no? FB is equivalent kay 80, yung length na to, plus nito. Tama? So, 80 plus, para makuha itong length na to, so, pwede kong sabihin yun ay cosine nito. Tama? 100 cosine 50. Therefore, FB is equivalent kay 144.279 Newton. Ito po yung value ni FB. Okay? So, let's proceed ulit sa another problem. May 10 problem ata tayo dito. Okay, sample problem number 5. So, the magnitude of the force F is 400 pounds. Express F as the vector in terms of the unit vectors I and j. Identify both the scalar and vector component. Okay. So, we have here a figure. So, ito daw is kunin lang natin yung component niya. No? So, we have here the value of F, Y, and the value of F, X. Okay? Tapos, kukunin natin yung F in terms of I and J nga. Okay. Basta, ang incorporated kay X ay si I, at ang incorporated kay Y is yung J natin. So, pag na-compute natin yung Fy, may J yan. Pag mag-compute natin yung Fx, may I tayo. So, we have here F, which is equivalent kay 400 pounds. So, Fx is equivalent kay 400. So, ito yung Fx natin, cosine 30. Tapos, si Fy is equivalent kay 400 sine 30. Therefore, ito ay 400 cosine 30 is equivalent kay 346.41 pounds going to the left. Then, si 400 sine 30 is equivalent kay 200 pounds going up. Therefore, we have here the value of F is equivalent kay 346.41. Since going to the right, negative po siya. Since Fx siya, meron po tayong I. Plus, yung Fy which is 200, since upward siya, positive siya, then may J. And we all know that yung unit is naka-pounds. So, ito po yung naka-scalar component I and J nung force, no? Okay, another example ulit tayo. Example number 6. So we have here the line of actions of the 3,000 pound force runs through the points A and B as shown in the figure. Determine the x and y scalar component of F. So we have here again figure. Then let's compute this. So pwede kong i-assume na makuha ko yung leg na to at makuha ko yung leg na to para makakuha ko ng angle, no? So let's say ito ay may triangle tayo. Tapos ito. Para makuha yung buong length na to, tama bang 7 plus 8 lang po yun? 7 plus 8 is equivalent kay 15. Tapos 6 plus yung 2, magiging 8 po yung length niyan. So, ito ay 17 yung hypotenuse niya. So, para makuha yung value, F is equivalent kay 3,000 pounds. We have here F x is equivalent kay 3,000 times fx natin na ito. So we have here fx and fy. fy, fx. So sa fx natin is 15 all over 17. Then si fy natin is equivalent kay 3,000 times yung y, which is yung vertical, 8 over 17. Therefore, ito ay lalabas 2,647.059 pounds going to the right. Then, si Fy is equivalent kay 1,411.765 pounds upward naman. No? Or pwede mong gamitin yung angle, theta. So, si theta is equivalent kay tangent, arctan, all over 8 over 15. So, lalabas si theta dyan ay tangent theta is 8 over 15. Theta is 28.072 degrees. So, pareho lang po ng ilalabas na value naman yan. No? So, kahit saan po yung isolve nyo dyan. So, therefore, lalabas yung F natin is equivalent kay, since going to the right to positive, we have here 2,647.059 I. Tapos tayo upward, positive pa rin po, 1,411.765 J. And the unit is pounds. Ito yung sagot dyan sa problem natin. Okay. Another problem ulit. Problem number 7 tayo. So we have here the T component of the force F is known to be 75. Determine the N component and the magnitude F. So ito. So meron tayong force dyan. And we all know that itong T component natin ay 75 Newton. Pinapahanap po is yung N at yung value na force na to. So again, parallelogram ulit tayo or extend lang natin yung mga forces natin. So pwede kong ito extend dito. Pag ganito. Ito yung value ng F. Tapos ito, lagay ulit ako ng value dito. So, parang yan yung magiging parallelogram natin. Yan o. Yan yung parallelogram natin. Pero alam natin ito ay equivalent kay 75. The value of this T component is 75 Newton. Okay? So, para ma-compute natin, yung mga angle na lang kailangan natin. Therefore, meron tayong, pag nag-line ako dito ng horizontal force, we all know that ang angle nung nasa taas is 30. Kasi base dito ay 30. Tapos yung angle sa ilalim is 10. So, magiging 40 degrees po yung kabuuan niyan. No? Yan. Okay, so lalabas, we have here N and F. So, since 90 degrees naman po to, so pwede na tayo mag-sine at cosine, no? So, cosine 40 degrees galing dito, cosine is adjacent over hypotenuse, 75 over hypotenuse F. Therefore, F is equivalent kay 97.9056 Newton. Then, si sine, tangent pala. Tangent 40 is opposite, which is N over 75. N is equivalent kay 62.9324 Newton. So, ito po yung value ng N component tsaka yung value po ng F dyan sa problem. Okay? Okay, another problem tayo. Problem number 8. So problem number 8, determine the scalar component of the force R along the non-rectangular axis and axis A and B. Also, determine the orthogonal projection of R onto A axis. Po siya. So we have here ito. So project lang po natin. So again, gawa ulit ako ng parallelogram ulit dito. So magkakaroon ako ng force which is yung force dito is nakaparallel dito sa line na to, no? Okay. So parallel sa line na yan. Check nyo lang kung parallel na to. Tapos gawa kayo ng ganyan. Then ito, proceed mo lang to doon. Tuloy-tuloy nyo lang yung line of action niya. Then ulit, gawa ka ng parallel na line of action dito sa kabila. Na parallel dito sa line na to. So ito na siya yung magiging itsura ng natin. Okay, so pinapahanap po is the value of A and B. So ito si R, A, ito si R, B. And we all know that ito ay 800 lang nandito. 800 Newton. So ngayon, para makuha natin, kailangan natin identify yung mga angles, no? So lalabas, when we have angle dito na 110, therefore ito ay 110 din. Then, kung ito ay 30 plus 110, meron tayo 140. So, di ba kabuuan angle ay 180. So, we can say that ito ay 40 degrees din. Then, sine law, we have here RA all over sine 110 is equivalent kay yung may 800 over sine 40 equivalent kay RB over sine 30. Therefore, para makompute yung RA, tingnan nyo lang tong value na to. Tingnan nyo muna to. Tingnan nyo yung kabila. Ito. Tingnan nyo to. Makompute nyo yung RA which is equivalent kay 800 sine 100 800 sine 110 all over sine 40. Therefore, lalabas na value is equivalent kay 1,169.522 Newton. And for RB, is equivalent kay, ito lang tingnan nyo, RB. Therefore, lalabas yan ay 800 sine 30 all over sine 40. So we have here 622.2895 Newton. So, meron tayong value na RA which is 1,169 and RB which is 622. No, ito po yung sagot dun sa tanong. Pero, may additional question which is hinahanap yung orthogonal projection along A-axis. So, dito, hahanapin mo lang itong nagkaroon ng perpendicular dito. Ito ay magiging 90 degrees. At ang pinapahanap po dyan ay itong FA na to. FA. So, or yung orthogonal projection dun sa A-axis. So, para makuha yan, di ba may angle ka dito at may length ka naman dito. So, pwede mo nang sabihin cosine 30 is adjacent over hypotenuse. So, FA over 800. So, FA is equivalent kay 692.8203 Newton. So, ito yung value ng orthogonal projection FA natin, no? Okay. So, may question? Hindi mo kayo makapagtanong, di ba? So, mag-chat na lang kayo pag may hindi kayo maintindihan or kapag may error dun sa discussion ko, much better na i-chat din dun sa comment section ng YouTube para at least ma-verify agad natin or ma-double check or ma-correct agad natin, no? Tao lang din naman tayo, nagkakamali lang kung sakali. Okay. So, let's proceed to another problem. Kasi 10 problem ata itong prepare ko sa inyo. Kasi nga, sabi nila, the more problems na sinusolve nyo, mas naiintindihan nyo ng mabuti yung subject, no? So, we have here example number 9. It is desired to remove the spike from the timber by applying force along its horizontal axis. An obstruction A prevents direct axis so that two force, one 400 pounds and the other P are applied by cable as shown. So, compute the magnitude of P necessary to ensure the resultant T directed along the spike. Also, find T. So, ito. Pinapahanap yung tension dyan at pinapahanap yung value ni P. So, meron ulit tayong figure. Ito. So, to solve the problem, so, gawa ulit tayo ng projection, no? So, let's say na mapoproject ulit ako ng kasing haba, kasing parallel nito dito sa side na to. Ganito. And then, magpo-project ulit ako ng another pag ganito na parallel sa side na to. Okay? Ito siya. Okay. Then, ito yung tension R natin. Tension T, which is T. Pag ganyan yung force niya. Kumbaga, si T is the resultant ng dalawang force natin. So, we have here 400. So, the angle of this and this is makukuha natin sa 4/8 at saka 6/8. So, para makuha natin to sa taas, sabihin ko ito ay theta 1, ito ay si theta 2. Tangent opposite over adjacent. Tangent theta 1 is equivalent kay opposite which is 4/8. Then tangent theta 2 is opposite which is 6/8. Therefore, angle theta 1 is equivalent kay 26.57 degrees. And si tangent 2, 36.87 degrees. Okay. So ngayon, para ma-compute natin, tabang si 400 dito ay ito din 400. Then, para makuha natin yung value, so si theta 1 ito, which is equivalent kay 26.57 and si theta 2 which is 36.87. So, makukuha natin yung angle. So, pwede natin computein ito dito. So, kung ito ay theta 1, which is 26, makakompute ko ito bilang 90 minus 26. So, tapos, itong angle dito is i-add ko dun sa kabila. So, parang ito lang yon, angle dito at ito. So, kunin ko na lang. So, 90 minus 26.57 is equivalent kay 63.43 to. At yung angle na isa is 90 minus 36.87. We have here 53.13. Therefore, itong angle na nandito is yung kabuuan nitong dalawa plus 63.43. We have here 116.56. Then, since may 115.56 ka na dyan, makukuha mo na yung angle dito. So, then, mag-sin law tayo. No? So, 180 minus 116.56 minus 26.57. Therefore, may angle ako dito na 36.87 din to. Ito ay 36.87. Okay, so para makuha natin, we have here T all over sine 116.56 equals 400 pounds all over yung equivalent opposite angle niya sine 26.57 57 equals itong value na to P all over sine 36.87. So therefore, para makuha yung value ni T, so T is equivalent kay, ito lang tingnan nyo, kabila, T is equivalent kay 400 sine 116.56 all over sine 26.57. Ang dilim yung kaki. Equals 799. T is equivalent kay 799.897 pounds. Then the value of P is equivalent kay, ito lang, tingnan nyo to. So therefore, lalabas si P is equivalent kay 536.565 pounds. Equivalent kay P. So ito po yung value ni P. Okay? Okay, let's proceed to the last problem. Problem number 10. Okay. At what angle must the 400-pound force be applied in order that the resultant R of the two forces have a magnitude of 1,000 pounds? For this condition, what will be the angle between R and the horizontal? So, kuha ulit ako ng problem, ng figure. Okay siya. Ganito. So, pinapahanap po is yung resultant force and yung angle na mag-a-act dun sa force natin. Okay. So, we have here tension 1 which is equivalent kay 400 and tension 2 which is equivalent kay 700. So, magpo-project lang ulit ako ng another parallel dito at parallel dito para makapagkuha tayo ng resultant force, no? Okay. Project ako ng same angle dito. So, dito na lang ako magsusulat. So, pareho, kaparallel nito, dito na lang ako mag-ano. So, yan yung line of action. Then, kaparallel nito, dito ako lalagay. Then, for the resultant force, ito po yung nakalabas ang resultant value natin. Okay? Ito po si R. Okay. Para makuha natin yung mga angle, so, we have here angle. Makakuha tayo ng angle gamit si R is given pala, which is equivalent kay 1,000 pounds. Therefore, we have here 3 sides. Si 400 ito, 700 ito. Tapos ito si 400. So, we have here 3 sides of the triangle. Makakuha tayo ng angle. Tama? So, we can say na makukuha natin itong angle dito. So, lalabas. We have here R squared is equivalent kay 400 squared plus 700 squared minus 2 times 400 times 700 cosine. Sabihin ko ito si alpha. Cosine alpha. So, therefore, R is equivalent kay 1,000. Tama ba? So, 1,000 squared minus 400 squared minus 700 squared all over negative 2 times 400 times 700 equals arc cosine answer lalabas arc cosine answer lalabas dyan ay alpha is equivalent kay 128.628 degrees. Therefore, makukuha natin yung angle nito, which is itong angle na to ay yung kabuoang angle na to na pinapahanap po. Na theta. Okay? So, therefore, lalabas yan, theta is equivalent kay 180 degrees minus 128.628 degrees. Therefore, theta is equivalent kay 180 minus 128.628 51.3178 degrees. So, ito po yung angle between the rope. No, doon sa tension force natin na 400 at saka 700 pounds. Therefore, pinapahanap din po yung angle between R and the horizontal. So, between R and the horizontal. Ito. Sabihin ko ito si beta. So, para ma-identify yung beta, gawin lang dahil natin itong ganito. No? So, pwede kong sabihin, ang katapat nito is 400. So, therefore, 400 squared is equal to 1,000 squared plus 700 squared minus 2 times 1,000 times 700 cosine beta. Therefore, beta is equivalent kay 400 squared minus 1,000 squared minus 700 squared all over negative 2 times 1,000 times 700 arc cosine answer is equivalent kay 18.194 degrees. So, ito po yung sagot dun sa problem number 10. Okay? Okay. So, yun po yung mga problems na incorporated po sa two-dimensional force system. No? Two-dimensional force system pa lang pinag-uusapan natin. Di ba? Incorporated doon yung resultant, moment couple. So, pagdadaanan pa natin yun. So, lahat ng pinag-aralan natin dito sa problem na to is two-dimensional force system. At kung mapapansin niyo halos knowledge natin sa trigonometry and algebra yung na-apply na pag-compute natin dun sa mga problems na to. No? Okay. So, let's continue. Moment. Moment, the tendency to move a body in the direction of its application. A force can also tend to rotate a body about an axis. The axis may be any line which neither intersects nor is parallel to the line of actions of the force. This rotation's tendency is known to be moment M of the force. Moment is also referred to as the torque. No? So, kung halimbawa may force tayo, tapos ililipat natin yung force sa kabila, ibig sabihin magkakaroon ng moment. No? So, moment is force times perpendicular distance. So, okay, Bareinon's theorem. So, one of the most useful principle of mechanics is Bareinon's theorem, which states that the moment of a force about any point is equal to the sum of the moment of the components of the force about the same point. So, si Bareinon's theorem is nag-moment ka ng single point with perpendicular distance at mag-moment ka ng component ng force na yon at may distance pa rin is pareho lang po no ng effect. So, yun. Okay, sample problem ulit tayo. So, I think may 7 problems ata to. Let's have sample number 1. Calculate the magnitude of the moment about the base point O of the 600 Newton force in 5 different ways. 5 different ways daw. Okay, pero 4 lang yung na-prepare ko na ways, no? So, solve natin siya using yung force times yung distance, perpendicular distance, then kukumputin natin siya by component, at kukumputin natin din siya by Bareilles theorem, no? Okay, so may drawing ulit ako, ito. So, computin muna natin siya into component, no? So, let's say solution number 1. Number 1 by component. Okay. So, by component muna tayo. M. So, yung moment daw ng M is papapuntahin yung force daw na to is papapuntahin natin dito. So, by component, so kailangan lang natin ng component na to at component na nandito. So, we have here F, X, and F, Y. Tama? Okay. So, kapag Fy ang pinamoment natin, tama bang ang galaw niyan ay pag ganito? Okay. So, kung ito yung head ng arrow natin, pag ganyan ang galaw niya. Kung ito yung head natin, para makapunta ka kay O, pag ganyan ang ikot niya. So, parehong clockwise po yun. No? So, we have here moment. First na imo-moment ko si Fy. So, we have here Fy, which is 600 sine 40. 600 sine ng 40. Kasi nga, di ba pag nag-sine ka, opposite over hypotenuse. So, ito yun. Multiplied by perpendicular distance. The perpendicular distance of Fy is the 2 meters. Okay? Since pareho po siya ng galaw, clockwise, plus Fx, ang Fx ko is 600 cosine 40. Ito, Fx. Ito pala, hindi makita sa... So, Fx is 600 cosine 40 times the perpendicular distance, which is 4. Therefore, M is equivalent kay 600 sine 40 times 4 plus 600 sine 40 times 2. Therefore, meron tayong moment which is equivalent kay 2,609.852 Newton meter. So, para hindi kayo malito, lagyan nyo lang ng direction. So, ang galaw natin kaninang moment ay puro clockwise. Okay? So, ito ay by component method. Okay. So, isolve natin siya by algebra. No? So, by algebra, the perpendicular distance is ito. Diba? Perpendicular distance na yan. So, maglalagay lang ako ng line of action. So, the perpendicular distance is itong part na to. And we make sure na ito ay 90 degrees para perpendicular distance. No? So, solution number 2. Number 2 solution by algebra. By trigonometry. Since mga angle and triangle sa pinag-usapan dito. By trigo. Okay. So, let's say na ito ay si distance D. So, to get the distance D, so, pwede kong sabihin, pag naglagay ako ng another perpendicular line dito, which is ito, perpendicular line, tama ba ito ay 90 degrees? And 90 degrees din to. So, therefore, pwede kong makompute si D as yung value nito at yung value nito. No? Okay? So, lalabas ko ito ay 40 degrees. Ito ay 40 degrees din to. Lalabas ito ay 50 degrees. ito ay another 40 degrees. Okay? Kasi ito at ito ay pareho lang. So, kung anong angle dito, yun din yung angle dito, 40 degrees. Yung angle dito, at yun dito ay pareho lang. Okay? Tapos ito, 40 degrees, nakuha siya dun sa process na pag ganito. Kung may angle ka na 40 degrees dito, may perpendicular distance ka, tapos may nag-vertical ka dito, lalabas, yung angle na nandito is halos pareho dito sa 40 degrees. Ito, 40 degrees din to. No? So, yun. Okay. So, may mga angle na tayo. We can say na ito, plus ito, is equivalent kay D. So, solve natin si D. D is equivalent kay 4 cosine 40. So, meron akong cosine adjacent over hypotenuse. So, lalabas yan 4 cosine 40. Plus, itong ditong value. So, makakuha ko na itong value na to gamit ito. So, ito ay 90 degrees ulit dito. So, para makuha ko to, sine value naman tayo. So, plus 2 sine 40 degrees tayo. Okay? Gets? Okay. D is equivalent kay equals 4.35 meters. Therefore, moment is equivalent kay force times perpendicular distance na D. So, si moment is equivalent kay force which is 600 times yung D which is 4.35. So, 600 times 4.35 equals 2,610. So, moment is equivalent kay 2,610 Newton meter counterclockwise. Okay? Ay, clockwise pala. So, meron tayong dalawang ways ng pag-solve. Okay, another way. Principle of transmissibility. So, pwede natin sabihin, kung ito ay tutuloy-tuloy natin, tapos ito ay ililipat ko dito. So, kung ganyan yung maging itsura ng ano natin, so pwede kong dito ilagay yung force component. No? Then, para ma-compute natin, itong force na nandito, ito ay 600 pa rin to, 600 Newton. Ito ay principle of transmissibility. Yung force dito na nag-a-act is pareho lang po dun sa force na nandito na nag-a-act. Kasi nga, kung pareho lang yung line of action niya, is pareho lang po yung magiging force niya. So, kung ano yung 600 dito, 600 lang din dito, hanggang dito, 600 po yung force na nag-apply. No? Okay. Therefore, kapag in-moment natin to dito, itong force na to, pag kinomponent po natin, itong 600 dito, pag kinomponent po natin, Fx to at Fy. Therefore, si Fx is magpapass through dun sa O, so hindi na po siya magmo-moment. Ang gagalaw na lang po is Fy times the perpendicular distance na to. Okay? So, number 3, by transmissibility. Okay. We have here moment is equivalent kay force times distance ulit tayo. So, moment Fy times distance tayo. Fy natin is 600. Fy is sine 40. Ngayon, ano po yung perpendicular distance natin? So, si perpendicular distance natin ay, pwede ko sabihin ito ay 2. Tama? So, meron akong 2 dito. Yung 2 ay ito. 2. Plus ito. So, to get this, meron akong angle dito na 40 degrees. Tapos, meron akong height na 4 dito. Tama? So, pag gumamit ako ng tangent, makukuha ko to. Tangent theta is opposite over adjacent. So, plus tangent theta, opposite over adjacent. So, si opposite over adjacent. So, si 4 over tangent 40 degrees. 40 degrees yan ah. Then, therefore, M is equivalent kay 609 2609 pala. 2609.852. Para wala po siya ng component. Okay? So, another. Kung itong force na to ay ililipat ko dun sa taas, magkakaroon ako ng line of action na ganito. Ito naman yung line of action ko. Dito ako magfo-force. Tapos magko-component ako dito, Fx over Fy. So ngayon, kapag nag-moment ako, si Fy, magpapass through dun sa point O, so hindi na siya mag-moment. So therefore, Fx na lang yung gagalaw. Okay? So, purin ko yung taas para dito na lang. Si Fx, therefore, moment is equivalent kay F times perpendicular distance na D. Tapos, ang moment mo is Fx naman times D. So, si Fx, M is equivalent kay Fx. Para makuha si Fx is 600 cosine 40. Tama? Times the perpendicular distance, 4 plus yung distance na 4 plus yung distance na to. Tama? So, kung may 2 ka dito, tangent ulit tayo. Tangent theta is opposite over adjacent. So, we have here 2 tangent 40 degrees. Bakit 2 tangent 40? Diba? Tangent 40 is opposite over adjacent. So, tangent 40, opposite. So, ito yung opposite natin, di ba? Over adjacent. So, we have here tangent 40, opposite yung adjacent natin ay 2. So, 2 tangent 40 yun. So, si M is equivalent kay 2,609.85 din Newton. Clockwise. Clockwise din itong isa. Okay. So, dun sa first problem agad natin na binigyan ko na kayo ng ng samot-saring ways ng pag-solve ng moment, no? Pero yun nga, may additional problems pa naman ako. So, sana dun sa 4 na binigay ko na ways ng pag-solve, sana may nasundan ninyo, no? Or paulit-ulitin nyo lang yung video para marami akong views. Hindi, para mas marami kayong matututunan, no? So, yun. So, let's continue problem number 2. Problem number 2. So, example number 2, we have here the 4 kilonewton force F is applied at point A. Compute the moment of F about point O, expressing both as a scalar and vector quantity. Determine the coordinates of the points on the x and y axis about which the moment is 0. So, example, number 2. Okay. Kawal ako ng papel na may drawing na. Okay. So, pinapamoment daw itong force na to dun sa point O natin. Okay. Okay, so let's say na 5 and 3. So, makukuha natin yung hypotenuse niyan. Square root ng 5 squared plus 3 squared is equivalent kay square root of 34. Okay. Then, para makuha natin yung moment, M is equivalent kay, i-component po natin to pag ganyan at pag ganyan. So, ito si F y, ito si f x. So, moment is equivalent kay pag ganon, positive ang clockwise natin. Clockwise is positive and counterclockwise is negative. Okay? So, yan po yung assumption natin. So, ngayon, moment Fy is clockwise. So Fy times yung distance niya, which is ito, punta dito. So kung meron akong distance na to, ito yung 1.2 plus yung moment niya is counterclockwise, pag ganon, negative Fx times perpendicular distance, which is 1.5. Okay. So si moment is equivalent kay Fy natin. Fy natin ay 4 kilonewton times Fy. Ang y natin ay 3 over the square root of 34 times 1.2 minus Fx. Ang value ng Fx natin ay 4 times 5 over the square root of 34 times 1.5 na distance. Therefore, moment is equivalent kay negative 2.675 kilonewton meter. So therefore, moment is equivalent kay 2.675 kilonewton meter, and we all know that the negative sign is the counterclockwise. So, ibig sabihin counterclockwise yung moment natin dyan. Okay. So, another question. Determine the coordinates of the points on the x and y axis about which the moment F is 0. So, magkakaroon ng 0 moment daw. So, dito, yung line of action natin, tuloy-tuloy mo lang siya. Tapos, dito sa point na to, meron akong Fy, and meron akong Fx dito. Then, dito sa point na to, meron akong Fx, and meron akong Fy. Na kung saan, dito, sa point na to, magkakaroon ako ng 0 force. Kasi, 0 moment. Kasi itong Fy dito is mag-moment siya. Hindi siya mag-moment pala, no? So, pinapahanap yung point na to at yung point na dito. No? Okay. So, solve natin. Para makuha yan, ito lang po yan. Moment is equivalent kay F times D. Tama? Tapos, meron akong moment na isa. Moment which is equivalent kay 2.675 is equivalent kay force, which is 4 times 5 all over the square root of 34 times D. So, si D is equivalent kay 0.7799. So, ibig sabihin yan, itong point dito is 0.7799. No? Therefore, the value will be 0x and 0.7799y. Then, para naman dito, we have your moment is equivalent kay F times D. Fy, Fx to. Fy naman to. So, we have your 2.675 is equivalent kay Fy, which is 4 times 3 all over the square root of 34 times D. And D is equivalent kay 1.299. And we all know that 1.299 is papasok dito sa negative side. So, lalabas siya na yung negative. Therefore, we have here negative 1.299 and 0y. Okay? So, ito po yung points na pinapahanap dyan sa problem. Or either gamitan mo siya ng sa analytic geometry, di ba may ganyang problem tayo sa analytic geometry na kung saan pwede nating mahanap yung point na to at point na to. Gamit lang yung tangent theta is equivalent kay y2 minus y1 all over x2 minus x1. So may tangent ka naman, may theta ka, makukuha mo yung theta. Tapos yung isang value ng x1 at yung x1 or yung y1 is 0 mo. So makukuha mo yung 2 points kasi may 2 points kasi yun na na given naman. Ito. Nakuha kami isang point doon. No? So, yung point na yun is ito rin yung kalabasan nun. Okay? So, ito yun. Pakita ko na lang sa inyo yung solution. Masyadong ulit. Hindi makafocus. Sulat ko na lang. Okay. Sulat ko. Tatanggalin ko na ito para we all know that tangent theta pala is equivalent kay TOA 3 over 5. So, si theta is equivalent kay 30.96. Si 30.96 siya. Therefore, tangent 30.96 is equivalent kay y2 minus y1 all over x2 minus x1. Tangent 30.96 is equivalent kay y2 which is 1.5. Ito. 1.5 na given. Itong 1.5 dito. Minus y1 all over x2 na 1.2 minus 0. Therefore, y1 is equivalent kay 0.7799. Therefore, 0 and 7.799. Then, tangent theta, tangent 30.96 is equivalent kay y2 minus y1 all over x2 minus x1. So, tangent 30.96 is equivalent kay 1.5 minus 0 y1, then 1.2 minus x1. Therefore, x is equivalent kay negative 1.299. Therefore, negative 1.299 and 0 po yan. So, yan po. Other way na pagkuha nitong value na to. Okay, next problem tayo. So we have here problem number 3. So calculate the moment of 250 Newton force on the handle of the monkey wrench about the center of the bolt. Okay. So, may drawing ulit ako. Yan. Tapo ulit yung drawing. So, pinapakompute po yung moment nitong force na to dun sa bolt na to. No? So, we have here solution number 3. Moment is equivalent kay. Iko-component ko ulit ito. We have here ito. F Y. Then meron akong F X. Tapos ito yung actual force natin na may angle na 15 degrees dito. So, moment is equivalent kay pag galaw nito, papunta doon, tapos ito, pag ganun siya, ibig sabihin, counterclockwise to. Ito ay clockwise. So, unahin ko yung clockwise, Fy, positive, times perpendicular distance, which is 200 mm. So, lalabas siya na ay 0.2 meters. Minus, kasi nga, counterclockwise yung Fx times perpendicular distance, which is 0.03. Okay. So, we have here moment is equivalent kay Fy. Ang Fy natin ito, so lalabas siya na 250 cosine 15 times 0.2 minus 250 sine 15 times 0.03. Therefore, moment is equivalent kay 250 cosine 15 times 0.2 minus 250 sine 15 times 0.03. We have here 250 cosine 15 times 0.2 minus 250 sine 15 times 0.03. We have here 46.355 Newton meter. Okay? So, yan po yung value ng moment natin. Okay? So, next problem ulit tayo. We have here, determine the combined moment about O due to the weight of the mailbox and the cross member AB. The mailbox weighs 4 pounds and the uniform cross member weighs 10 pounds. Both weights act on the geometric center of the respective items. Yan. So, may mailbox daw tayo na kung saan ay may mga weight, no? Na kung saan ay nakalagay siya sa center of gravity ng materials natin. Then, papamoment daw natin lahat ng force papunta dito sa point O na to. So, therefore, itong mailbox natin daw ay nag-weight ng 4 pounds, no? So, ibig sabihin, yung center nitong 19 dito, yung center nitong 19 na to, na mailbox, dyan po mapupunta yung 4 pounds. So, dito, 4 pounds. Then, yung 10 pounds na uniform member weight ng AB, ito, si AB is yung center ng AB naman, no? So, kung check natin yung center ng AB is nandito banda yung AB. Ito yung 10 pounds. Okay. Para makuha yung moment, lahat yan ay puro counterclockwise. Tama? So, moment at O is equivalent kay 4 pounds. Yung distance ng 4 pounds ay ito, di ba? Okay? Yung distance ng 4 pounds ay ito. So, lalabas yan, distance niya ay yung 3 inches na nandito plus yung kalahati ng 19. So, therefore, 19 over 2 plus yung 10 pounds times the distance. Ang distance natin ay yung kalahati nitong buo minus nitong 7 dito. So, kalahati niyan is, itong buong to ay 30 over 2 minus 7. Therefore, MO is equivalent kay 4 times 3 plus 19 over 2 plus 10 times 30 over 2 minus 7 equals 130 pounds inch. Tapos, ang moment niya is counterclockwise. Ito po yung sagot. Minsan may mga problem tayo na encounter na parang ang hirap nating intindihin. Pero kapag naintindihan naman natin siya, ganun lang pala yung solusyon, di ba? Kasi minsan, pag makakita pa lang tayo ng figure na masyadong, pagkaganda-ganda ng drawing, natatakot na agad tayo kasi iniisip na agad natin na parang ang hirap naman ito solve, di ba? Pero kapag naintindihan mo yung problem, yan lang pala yung solution nun, di ba? So, next problem tayo, problem number 5. Problem number 5. The 120 Newton force is applied as shown to one end of the curved wrench. If calculate the moment of F about the center O of the bolt, determine the value of which would maximize the moment about O. State the value of this maximum moment. Okay, so pinapahanap daw yung moment force na to papunta dun sa O at pinapahanap yung value ng alpha na nandito. Okay? To get the value of an alpha, ito kasi si alpha is dapat yun nandito ring angle. So, baga gagawa lang ako ng triangle dito sa figure natin. So, magla-line of action ako dito na straight. Tapos magkakaroon din ako ng action dito, line of action, para makakita kayo ng triangle. Nandito. Okay, so ito is equivalent kay 25 plus 70 plus 70 plus 25. So 50 plus 140 is equivalent kay 190 mm. And ito is 70 plus 70 is 140 plus 150 is 290 mm. Therefore, para makuha natin yung pinaka-maximum angle of theta, angle alpha, so si alpha dito is dapat pareho po yung sa angle na nandito din, which is alpha. Okay? So, para makuha natin yan, tangent alpha is opposite, which is 190 degrees, 190 mm all over 290 mm. Therefore, alpha is equivalent kay 33.232 degrees. So, ito po yung maximum angle. Question is, yan po yung angle alpha. Then, pinapahanap po natin yung maximum moment. So, to identify the maximum moment, syempre perpendicular distance nun. So, pwede mo nang isolve yan through, kunin mo lang yung value nito. So, pwede kong sabihin, square root of 290 squared plus 190 squared equals, divide 1,000 para maging mm, para maging meter, times 120. So, lalabas yan is, solve ko para makita niya. So, we have here, pinag ko sa x is equivalent kay square root ng 0.19 squared plus 0.29 squared. X is equivalent kay square root ng 0.19 squared plus 0.29 squared. Lalabas ang value po natin is 0.3467. Then, meters po to. Then, to find the moment O is equivalent kay force times distance. So, si force which is 120 times 0.3467. Therefore, MO is equivalent kay times 120. 41.6038 Newton meter. And the movement is clockwise. Ito yung sagot niya. Or either, pwede nyo gamitan siya ng component. The component is, kahit hindi nyo na-solve yung alpha, kapag, kailangan nyo pa rin pala yung alpha kapag magko-component kayo. So, component natin, we have here, f, y, and fx dito. Okay? So, para mag-component, mo is equivalent kay f x multiplied by 0.19 plus, since yung moment niya is puro clockwise, puro positive yan, fy times 0.29. Therefore, mo is equivalent kay fx natin is 120 sine, kasi kung ito yung angle natin, opposite siya, no? So, sine, yung opposite. Sine 33.232 times 0.19 plus 120 cosine 33.232 times 0.29. Therefore, MO is equivalent kay 41.6038 Newton meter clockwise. This will be the value of MO. So, ito yung component, ito ay yung perpendicular distance D. So, pareho lang po siya ng value ito. Okay. So, kahit saan po dyan, acceptable na answer po yan, no? Maliban na lang kung bang stricto ng instructor ninyo. ayaw tumanggap ng ibang solusyon. No? Okay, let's proceed to another problem. Anong problem ba ito? Okay, problem number 6. So, si problem number 6, a pry bar is used to remove a nail as shown. Determine the moment of 60-pound force about the point of contact between the pry bar and the small support block. Okay. Paano yan na-solve? Okay, ito na po yan. So, we all know na ito ay 65 degrees angle. So, magkakaroon tayo ng itong angle na to is, halimbawa meron ako ditong angle, horizontal angle dito. Lalabas ito po ay 65. Tama. Tapos, angle dito is 15, which is ito, 15. Then, kung makikita nyo, ito ay 90 degrees. Angle to, 90 degrees. So, 90 minus 65 minus 15, 90 minus 65 minus 15 equals, meron akong natitirang 10 degrees dito. Tama? So, pinapahanap yung moment dun sa O. Papunta dito. Okay. So, kung ito yung first natin, forces na yan. So, pwede kong tingnan yung ano nang nakaganito. Tapos, dito ko lalagay yung axis. At nandito yung isa. Axis. Sabihin ko ito yung si F, X, at dito si F, Y. Gets? Okay. Then, para ma-compute natin, moment of O is equivalent kay Fy. Itong Fy, papunta doon, times yung distance natin na 1.2 inches. Tapos ito, pag ganun din ang galaw, positive din siya, clockwise, Fx times yung perpendicular distance which is 14 inches. So, kapag moment po ang pinag-uusapan natin, dapat pound foot po ang value natin. Or pwede naman pound inch, no? Pero, doon kasi sa book, pound foot po yung answer sa pinakalikod ng libro. So, pound foot po natin yung sagot dito. Okay. So, MO is equivalent kay Fy. Ang Fy natin ay 60, para makuha ng sine, 10 degrees, times 1.2 all over 12, plus Fx, which is 60 cosine 10 times 14 over 12. Therefore, MO is equivalent kay 60 sine 10 times 1.2 over 12 plus 60 cosine 10 times 14 over 12. So we have here 69.978 Newton, pound foot. And the direction is clockwise. Or pwede mong gamitin yung angle na nasa ilalim. Ito ay lalabas to ay 80 degrees, tama? So, pwede kong sabihin MO is equivalent kay Fy times 1.2 plus Fx times 14. So, kung itong angle na itong gagamitin mo, we have here MO is equivalent kay 60 cosine 80 times 1.2 all over 12 plus 60 sine 80 times 14 over 12. Check natin kung para akong sagot. 60 cosine 80 times 1.2 over 12 plus 60 sine 80 times 14 over 12. 69.978 pound foot. Count clockwise. Okay? So, pareho lang po yung sagot. Okay, next problem. Next problem po tayo. Okay, problem number 7. So, element of the lower arm are shown in the figure. So, the weight of the forearm is 5 pounds with the mass center at G. So, located siya sa G to, 5 pounds. Determine the combined moment about an elbow of pivot O. So, magmo-moment daw tayo dun sa O, pivot O. Ito yung, hindi ko makita yung ano. Pivot O, ito yung pivot O. Of the weights of the forearms and the spear. So, yung forearms natin na 5 pounds, ito 5 pounds at yung weight ng spear is i-moment daw natin to dun sa point O. No? Then, what must be the bicep tension force P so that the overall moment about O is 0. So, later, ikukunin daw din natin yung value ng T para maging equilibrium or maging 0 po yung moment dun sa elbow natin. No? So, kung ikaw ay nagwe-weights, so, yung application ng mechanics is ma-apply mo dito. So, para hindi masyadong masaktan yung elbow mo, so, ito yung gawin mo. Compute ka. No? Pero, hindi naman nangyayari sa actual na buhay. Okay. Pero kung marunong ka mag-compute, yun nga, pwede mo siyang i-apply sa totoo mong buhay. No? Para at least yung elbow mo habang nag-gym ka, hindi nasasaktan. No? Hindi ka masasaktan. Okay. So, ito. So, we have here 5 pounds and 8 pounds na spear. So, i-moment lang natin siya dito sa point na to. So, moment. So, ang galaw nito is pa-clockwise pag ganon. Ito, ang galaw nito ay pa-clockwise din. Tama? So, moment at O. Moment at O is equivalent kay yung 5 pounds times yung perpendicular distance na to. Perpendicular distance. Since may angle ka dito na 55 degrees, so pwede kang sabihin nito ay 6. So, para makuha ko tong distance na to is sin theta of opposite over hypotenuse. So, we have here 6 sin 55 degrees plus 8 times 13. Therefore, the moment will be MO is equivalent kay 128.5746 pound inch clockwise. Okay. Then ngayon, pinapahanap daw kung ano yung value ng tension natin dito sa biceps natin para maging 0 yung moment dun sa MO. So, MO is equivalent kay tension times 2 inches na distance na to. Perpendicular distance na to, 2 inches. Okay? So, MO is 128.5746 is equivalent kay T times 2. Therefore, T is equivalent kay, divide mo lang sa 2, 64.2873 pounds going up. So, yan po yung value ng tension na mag-occur doon sa biceps nung nagbubuhat ng spear. No? So, madali lang naman siya i-solve. Okay. Mahaba pa po ata to, no? Yung topic natin, kaya yun ko na dito pa lang tayo. Tapos na natin yan. So, next natin is, ito pa, mahaba pa siya. So, siguro, i-cut ko na yung video kasi masyadong mahirap na siyang i-upload sa YouTube, no? So, magkakaroon ng part 2 at malamang magkakaroon pa ng part 3 kasi pinag-uusapan pa lang natin all throughout is yung 2-dimensional force system. Wala pa tayong 3-dimensional, no? So, yun. Siguro, ikakat ko lang muna dito yung discussion natin, no? So, next topic natin will be the couple. So, I do hope na naintindihan niyo yung discussion ko, no? At sana ay nasundan ninyo, no? Kumbaga kung hindi niyo nasundan, ulitin niyo ulit yung video para marami akong views, no? So pag-usapan natin si couple, no? Sana all may couple, no? Na na matawag. So basta sinabi ko sa inyo si couple is yung same force or same magnitude but opposite in direction. Tapos isolve na lang po natin 'yan, no? So ikakat ko na yung video kasi masyadong mahaba na siya. 2 hours na po, no? So yun nga, sa muli, keep safe tayo, mag-ingat tayo sa COVID-19, stay at home and mag-wear ng face mask, face shield kapag lalabas at maghugas ng kamay tuwing kakain at mag-alcohol po tayo kapag humahawak sa mga bagay-bagay, no? So, thank you for watching. I do hope na naintindihan niyo yung discussion ko at paki-like at paki-subscribe na lang din po. At sa mga ibang kakilala ninyo na nag-aaral ng engineering, pwede nyo rin i-share yung video ko para at least ay may natututunan sila. Kasi sa panahon ngayon ng COVID-19, ang hirap magkaroon ng face-to-face interaction sa teacher, no? So mahirap din yung learnings kapag self-learning lang ang estudyante. So kaya nga ako naggawa ng video nito para at least hindi naman puro Indiana yung naririnig ninyong nagsasalita ng mga computations pagdating sa engineering. So, bye and mag-ingat po tayong lahat.